This is a ReeTV mini-doc. Kids who kill. Are they a product of their environment after years of systematic sexual, physical and mental abuse, or are they simply born killers? Children 12 years and younger who commit murder are rare, but it does happen. This mini-series, Killer Kids, will look at some of the most publicised cases of children 12 years and younger who have committed murder. Sharon Carr, aged 12, Farnborough, Hampshire in England, kill count 1. In March 1997, Sharon Carr, dubbed the Devil's Daughter, was sentenced to 14 years in prison for killing Katie Ratcliffe. At just 12 years old, she became the youngest female ever to be convicted of murder in British history.
Passing sentence, Mr. Justice Scott Baker told Carr, "It is clear that killing, in your words, turns you on. You are a very dangerous young woman." As Sharon Carr left the dock, she was smiling. She may spend the rest of her life behind bars.
On the night of June the 7th, 1992, 18-year-old hairdresser Katie Ratcliffe left a nightclub in Camberley, Surrey. Her body was found 5 hours later and 3 miles away in Farnborough, Hampshire. She had been stabbed 27 times and her genitalia mutilated in what a detective described as a Jack the Ripper-style attack. Given the savagery of the assault, police thought they were hunting for an adult male culprit. In fact, the real killer was 12-year-old Sharon Carr, who managed to get away with the crime for the next 4 years.
Girls who kill girls is very unusual indeed. Girls who kill strangers, even more unusual. And a 12-year-old girl to kill an 18-year-old, a child to kill an adult who they'd never met before, is unique is the only word.
Some people to this day still don't believe that Carr acted alone. 2 men believed to be in the car with Sharon and Katie were questioned by police and provided each other with an alibi. But questions still remain.
You're thinking, can a 12-year-old girl drag an 18-year-old? That would have taken some dragging.
My opinion around that particular part of the evidence of the boys that were in the car is, my guess is that the police do know. They haven't been able to get the evidence that could be put before a court, not being able to maybe prove beyond reasonable doubt exactly what happened and having that nagging doubt.
What happened next? The police have their own theory. Along comes a car. She has to get from there to Farnborough. It had to be a car. She gets into a car, whether she's hitching a lift or she actually knows those inside. We have to assume that Carr was inside the car. The 2 girls had never met before. They're complete strangers. No connection at all. So who was driving the car? Not a 12-year-old girl. It had to be 1, possibly 2 men in the car. The next thing was that 3 miles away in Farnborough at 7 a.m. the next morning, so 5-hour gap, her half-naked body stabbed so viciously, so savagely, it can only be described as a frenzy. 27 odd stab and slash wounds to various parts of her body, head, shoulders, heart, liver, genitalia.
It was almost a Jack the Ripper sort of incident. We know what we feel about how barbaric that was, but this was a situation where the lady's sexual organs were attacked. Some of the injuries from the pathologist suggest that she was actually dead.
For the investigating police, Katie's death was one of mystery. However, the primary evidence, the frenzied attack, the sexuality of the attack, would point to a male. It would point to perhaps a male in their 30s. It would point to someone who was physically capable of dragging Katie from the one killing location to her final resting place.
They tended to believe this was an adult male and this was quite a severe sexual attack. I think now you would take that on board, definitely, but you would still allow your mind to consider other possibilities.
When we see women kill, we see them use generally just enough violence to get the job done. They won't use something called overkill. They won't stab somebody time after time after time. They won't, mutilate their body.
Carr was born in the former colony of British Honduras, now known as Belize, in 1979. She was born into a poverty-stricken environment. Her father was a violent drunk and her mother was also extremely violent and callous towards her. She was subject to physical, mental and sexual abuse on a daily basis.
It was chaos, it was upheaval. I think it was the case of survival for this young girl.
It was quite a violent episode. We were told by the stepfather that when he finally went to see Sharon Carr's mother to say, I'm finished, this relationship's over, that she poured boiling fat over him, and, you know, he was in agony. Her stepfather said one of the most extraordinary things about that incident was the calm face of Sharon Carr. She witnessed it and didn't flinch. She was absorbing these images of violence, and it didn't appear to disturb her.
She only became a suspect after bragging about the killing while at Bolwood Hall Young Offenders Institute, where she had been sent after stabbing another girl at school, exactly 2 years to the day of Katie's murder on the 7th of June 1994.
On what turned out to be the second anniversary of Katie's murder, a female pupil at a comprehensive school in Camberley was stabbed almost fatally in the school toilets. Carr had lured her into the toilet, supposedly on the pretext that she had lost a pound coin and wanted some help. Had 4 or 5 pupils not gone into the toilet at the time when Carr just stabbed her, she probably would have died. She said very clearly that she looked up and Carr was standing over her with the knife, sort of juggling it from one hand to another. And she was smiling. And it's a very sort of chilling image. Someone who's possibly on the brink of murdering someone, smiling, enjoying the terror that she had inflicted on her victim.
Alerted by staff, police found diaries in which Carr boasted about murdering Katie, a stranger, saying, "I'm a killer, killing is my business, and business is good." She also wrote, "I was born to be a murderer. Every night I see the devil in my dreams." It's emerged that Carr, born in Belize, had a violent upbringing. Her mother practiced voodoo and once poured pepper on her daughter's vagina as punishment. Carr, nicknamed the Devil's Daughter, confessed to the murder and was convicted on the 25th of March 1997, becoming the youngest female sentenced for murder in the UK. She was ordered to spend at least 14 years behind bars, but is currently in a secure psychiatric hospital. It wasn't until years after her arrest that doctors were able to study Sharon's behaviour, and she was diagnosed with a schizoaffective disorder.
Schizoaffective disorder is a combination of schizophrenia, a psychosis, and a mood disorder. So affective means the mood disorder. So along with delusions, paranoia, hallucinations that we associate with schizophrenia, you have either depression or mania and depression, as in bipolar disorder. So the combination of those things.
You think all these years later that fear is still very much there. This individual infiltrated this community, struck fear into everybody around her. And even though she is now behind bars, behind some very tall walls of an institution, she's still having an impact on people. Yes. It's something that I've never come across before, actually, of this magnitude, this long after the event.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, pretty please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Peace! You've been watching a ReeTV MiniDoc.